loyal to Royal, but when we went back to Princess, there were some big differences that we were not expecting. Let's chat about it. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a Princess Cruises certified expert, and today I'm going to chat with you some of the differences that we found between Royal Caribbean cruises and Princess cruises, especially the things that we were not expecting. So a little backstory, I started cruising for the first time in 2012 on Princess. Maybe I can find some videos or pictures or something, but we cruised with them until 2014. And then in 2015, we decided to try out Royal Caribbean. We were blown away by the differences between what was available in terms of food options and activities and stuff like that. And so then we stuck with Royal, especially once I became a mom, and it was a no-brainer to book a bunch of Royal Caribbean cruises with my daughter because of the fact that things like they had a baby pool, which is very rare for any cruise line to have. But for us, we then had the opportunity in 2023 to try out Princess again. And we were blown away by how much Princess had changed. And now we kind of wish we didn't do so many Royal cruises because we then had a whole bunch of Royal cruises before going back to Princess again. And so we are now loyal to Princess. As you can tell by our channel, if you're new here, we do pretty much exclusively Princess content now. But today I want to share with you guys some of the main reasons why we went back to Princess and what we noticed with the differences between the two. So I just want to say that these are my opinions and my perspective. This is not saying that, oh, you should not cruise with Royal Caribbean, because like anything in life, what works for one person is not going to work for another person. And this is just the reasons why we have chosen Princess over Royal. So first off, this is probably going to sound horrible, but the demographic suits us much better. We have found with Royal Caribbean, yes, it is better for families, but my family is not typical. My child has severe delays, and she's just not a normal child. So things like the kids club weren't something that she can even utilize. Instead, we're more worried about like accessibility with wheelchair. And that tends to be more for like the older demographic that Princess caters to. There's a lot more like cultural events and stuff that Princess caters to as well. Just the slower pace and the less partying is what we prefer. We've done a bunch of cruises with Princess and with Royal, going from places like Florida, not huge differences, especially like to the Caribbean. But even from like LA, we noticed a difference between when I went on the Navigator of the Seas with my daughter doing the exact same itinerary as we did with Discovery Princess. Very different demographic on each of those cruise lines. Now, I will say that there was more of a similarity when we went to, say, for instance, Norway, when we were on the Jewel of the Seas, which is a smaller Royal Caribbean ship. We still found that like the pacing and the demographic were roughly the same. But overall, we just find that the Royal Caribbean crowd tends to be more partying, and we like the slower, calmer pace that Princess offers us. The second major difference we noticed was the food. Now, at first it seemed like Royal would be the better option for us because they have consistency across their entire fleet. So they have the same menus, especially I am vegan, and so they have the same vegan menu across their entire fleet. And so you kind of have that consistency of knowing exactly what you are going to get. Whereas Princess, what you order on one ship might be very different than on another ship, especially as us vegetarians. Sky Princess, best veggie burgers ever. Sun Princess, worse, maybe? I don't know. Crown and Discoveries weren't great. Anyway, that consistency is just not there. And so you might order the same thing, but it'll be totally different. But what we actually prefer now is with Princess, because when you cruise as often as we have, which we're fortunate enough to, having that same menu over and over and over again gets boring. And they're also not as flexible with what you can change. Their dining is much more rushed feeling. And Princess, it was just more relaxed and much more casual and much more, how do I put it, like variety to it. I also love that Princess offers more like cultural dishes and more like local dishes. So if you're cruising to Alaska, for instance, you're going to have stuff like Alaskan salmon. If you're cruising to the Mediterranean, you're going to have Mediterranean dishes. They just have a lot more variety in terms of having things that are more like relevant to the cruise you were on than just this blanket thing, whereas I'm having the same meal in Norway as I had in Mexico, as I had in the Caribbean. Like, it's just a little bit more variety available with Princess in that way. I've talked about this before, but the WOW bands versus the medallion. What can I say? The WOW bands are horrible. Absolutely horrible. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, Royal Caribbean has on some ships wristbands that are pretty much useless. We got them when we were on the Oasis of the Seas, and this was before we had cruised with Princess again with the medallion. But we thought it would be like this easy way to access our stateroom and not need to take out our ship card, our SeaPass card all the time. But no, you still had to take it out constantly. Yes, we could get into our stateroom, but that was the only perk. If you were ordering a drink, you still had to give them your SeaPass card, or you had to take off your WOW band. Getting on and off the ship, you still needed your SeaPass card. It just was like kind of like an afterthought, and I feel like Royal Caribbean could have done so much better with this, especially seeing what Princess has done. We did like being able to get our stateroom, but you had to pay for the WOW band, and it doesn't work on all the ships. So I think that was actually the only ship we've been on with Royal that had that. Everything else we had to use a SeaPass card, which just was blah when you've gone back to the medallion with Princess. So with Princess, everyone gets the medallion. It is included. If you have a child under the age of 2, you might get a SeaPass card. Or if you're like, hey, I don't like the technology that is in the medallion, you do have the option to opt out and get a SeaPass card. But I highly recommend just going with medallion. It has so many great features, including proximity entry into your room. So you literally just walk up to your room and your door opens, which is amazing. You can order food to wherever you are on the ship with a few limitations. You can track your fellow shipmates, so anyone that's in your room, or you can add people. This is totally optional. You can turn this off if you don't want to actually be tracked. But we just found that the medallions are amazing for that. You scan it to get on and off the ship. You scan it for your muster. We wear them on a wristband, so that way we don't even have to worry about like, where are we going to put it? Where are you going to lose it? That kind of thing. And unlike a SeaPass card, like my brother lost his SeaPass card on the Jewel of the Seas, and then he had to go get it replaced. Whereas like my daughter has lost her medallion a few times, and we just pull up on the app, hey, where's my daughter at? Oh, my daughter is at Alfredo's. And then we just go there and hey, her medallion is there because we can track it. So it's just a little bit better for stuff like that, but just it has so many more features that we were just blown away. And after our exciting anticlimactic experience with the WOW band, I was like, why didn't Royal do this better? Because clearly it can be done better. Clearly the technology is there. So I don't know why Royal hasn't. If you're finding this video helpful, be sure to subscribe and also consider becoming a channel member either here on YouTube or over on our Patreon to help support us. Another huge difference that we found was all the extra cost things. With Royal Caribbean, everything is dynamic pricing. So when you go to book a specialty dining, it is going to depend on your itinerary, your ship, your time, everything. So like for instance, when me and my daughter went, I was looking to book for specialty dining for my birthday. One price for the specialty dining was insanely priced, whereas the next day it was cheaper, or the day before it was even less. And if you had it for lunch, it was a different price than dinner, and it was just like chaos. They also do dynamic pricing for their internet packages. So again, depending on how busy the ship is, what ship you're on. For instance, if you're on the Icon of the Seas, your internet package is going to cost more than if you're on the Jewel of the Seas. That kind of thing, which I don't like. And their drink packages, same thing, depending on what ship you're on, how busy it is. Going during the peak of summer on a big ship like the Icon, you're gonna pay more than if you're going off season on that same ship even. They do this even with their private island stuff, like Perfect Day at Coco Key. Their dynamic pricing for their cabanas and for their water park passes and stuff like that, all of it changes depending on what they feel they can charge you for, which is insane in my opinion. Like kind of like price gouging. I don't like it. It feels scummy. Now Princess has up their pricing for stuff like the Plus and Premier packages, but you always know what you're paying beforehand in a way. Like I can book the Plus package on any ship and it's the same price other than the Star or the Sun. Those are the only ones different, but you know that ahead of time you're paying a bit of a different prices just because of all the stuff that's available on those two ships. But you're not paying, it's $5 extra. You're not paying $200 extra because it's the newest ship. Also stuff like their cabanas, same price regardless of when you go on their private island. If you're buying the drink packages or internet packages not in the Plus or Premier package, it always is the same, regardless of what ship you're going on, what time of year, that kind of thing. Same with specialty dining. I can book specialty dining for my Alaska cruise, and it would have been the same price as if I had booked it for another cruise, as long as you're within that kind of like time before they change prices, which they tend to update about every year, but they tend only to change like a couple dollars. It's not like you're going from, like in my case, when I was on Royal Caribbean, going from like $25 a person to $100 and something per person. Another difference we weren't expecting was the staff. Now, don't get me wrong, we've had lovely staff on Royal Caribbean, but we just found the staff on Princess is way more accommodating and way more like there. The staff to guest ratios are just so much better on Princess. We just were able to find more staff. We were not as rushed by staff, especially in the dining room. The dining room just tended to be more rushed and felt like more just like getting on with things versus with Princess. Also, we found like just the activity staff are more accommodating and like visible and, how do I put it, like approachable. That's the word I'm looking for. They're just so much more approachable than we found on Royal Caribbean. On Princess, they seem much more willing to help. Even stuff like the wait staff, if we want just a glass of water, which is free, and we're sitting in a bar listening to music, they were more than happy to get it to us. Even, for instance, like my brother had a routine on the Crown Princess where he would just walk in, the waiter would see him and bring him his water. And on Royal Caribbean, we would ask for water and it would never come. Or we would ask for water and they would be like, oh, I'm only here for paid drinks. We had this often in the buffet where it's like, it is too much for me to juggle, especially when I was cruising alone with my daughter. I can't juggle an apple juice for her, pushing her wheelchair, plates for food. If I wanted to drink all that stuff, especially like breakfast, trying to also get soy milk and stuff like that. And I would be like, hey, by any chance, can I just get an apple juice? And they'd be like, it's over there. And I'd be like, yeah, but can you grab me one? No, I only get paid drinks. And it's like, you can see that I'm alone here with my daughter. Like, can you not just like help me? But that's what I found with Royal was just a lot more of just like, unless I am going to get a tip out of this, I'm not doing it for you. Whereas Princess, I don't know if they pay differently or just the expectation is different. Again, this is just my opinion and perspective, but we just found that like, unless we were paying for something, Royal staff was not willing to do it, whereas Princess staff were. Another huge difference was with the staff with our room attendants, our room stewards. On Royal, they have switched to once a day service, and that's all you get. And Princess is still at 2. Now, because my daughter's in diapers and the bathrooms are small and the bathroom garbages are tiny, I have always asked every single cruise I've been on to please, can you, like to Royal, please can you even just come back in the evening to take out the garbage? Every single ship, the answer was no. Every single ship. Nope. We come once a day. We can do service in the morning or in the evening. You choose, but it's once a day. And I'm like, but we have diapers and they fill up the garbage and they're smelly. And if she poops, they're even more smelly. Can you please just the garbage? I will tie it up. Yeah, no, not happening. Whereas Princess, they come twice a day. And they're always like, even if we're like, hey, the evening we just need the garbage taken out, they'll still do everything. They still do everything. So much more accommodating. And that's not to say we've never had issues on Princess. Like Sky Princess, the back of the buffet, horrible for getting drinks. But like that was the exception compared to Royal, where it was kind of more the rule that we were not having great service. And the last major difference that made us jump ship over to Princess is their loyalty program. Hopefully my editor can go and like find some like better examples than what I'm going to tell you. But Royal's loyalty program kind of sucks. I think it's probably because there's more people that are loyal to Royal, like they have more of a fan base, and so people build up their loyalty program, their loyalty status a lot more, so there's more people at that top tier than with Princess. But Princess just gives perks a lot lower, like a lot sooner in your cruise journey. My daughter has taken pretty much the same amount of cruises with Royal and with Princess, but with Princess, she gets like half price internet. With Royal, she gets nothing because she's gold, which is the like, you've cruised once with them and you're gold. It's just one of those things where it's like, even with me, I feel like I've cruised pretty much the same with all of them, but I get free laundry on Princess being elite and priority embarkation and all these amazing perks. And with Royal, I get to go to their party. That's it. Where I get a free drink. Yeah. Did that on Adventure of the Seas. Whereas after 5 cruises, you automatically have stuff like the Platinum and Elite Lounge, and you also get to go to the party. There's just You build up the loyalty a lot faster with Princess, and the perks that they offer are amazing. I just feel like with Royal Caribbean, you get like pretty much nothing for being loyal to them unless you're like super loyal to them. Whereas with Princess, even stuff like at the Ruby level, you get the higher insurance package for the same price as the lower insurance package. And that's after just 3 cruises with them. Stuff like that just really matters to me with having like better loyalty stuff. And this is another off-topic kind of thing, but like laundry, like Princess gives free laundry to their elite, which is 15 cruises or 150 cruise days. And hopefully my editor can go and find whatever is equivalent to 150 cruise days with Royal and show you guys. Pretty much you're probably gonna get nothing. I don't even know that you get your diamond drinks at 150 points. But yeah, you get free laundry, whereas like Royal, there's not even self-serve laundry on Royal, which is another reason why we had to jump ship. Because when you're taking 13-day cruises and you have no laundry, it kind of sucks. Whereas at least with Princess, you have self-serve laundry. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, coming up soon here, we are going to have a Princess planning series coming up where we are going to take you step by step through the entire Princess planning process. That's a mouthful. And that way you can plan out your Princess cruise to the best that you possibly can, because planning your cruise is the like biggest thing that can ruin your cruise. So you want to make sure you do it right. So if you're interested in learning more about Princess, or you're already booked with Princess and looking to learn more, be sure to subscribe because we do exclusive Princess content, and go check out this video right here because YouTube thinks it will be helpful for you.